Hi, I'm Scott Wrighton. I serve as Decatur's city manager, and every week you can get a little bit of an update about what's going on with your city government. It's been nearly 2 weeks since the last city council meeting, and because of the holidays, it'll be until January 16th before we have another city council meeting. So I don't have as many actions and decisions by the mayor and city council to report to you. So since this is the first of these videos in 2024, I wanted to talk a little bit about what I call the challenges that Decatur faces in 2024. Because I think that even though the City Council has labored a lot to put a lot of attention into a strategic plan, and they pass a lot of other documents that indicate how they're approaching their major policy initiatives, without going into all the details of those important documents, I think that it sort of distills down into what I would think about as 4 different key challenge areas that we face, especially for 2024. Certainly some of the mayor and council's decisions are more long-term in nature. At the federal level, both former President Trump and current President Biden, there's not much that they agree on, but one thing that they agree on is the importance of repatriating, bringing back to America industries and manufacturing. And there have been successes over the years and different initiatives of both the federal government as well as the state government, who has actively participated in some of the new businesses that are here, plus a lot of work by the local government as well. At the federal level, it's taken the shape of things like the CHIPS and Science Act, the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, the Infrastructure and Jobs Act, and these pieces of legislation focused a lot on electric vehicle manufacturing and production, as well as on semiconductors. These 2 areas of industry have been focuses of the Biden administration. What we've seen here in Decatur is both an investment and planning for electric vehicles, but also an area that hasn't necessarily been a major focus of the administration, and that is agribusiness and bioengineering of products that come from, especially from corn and soybean that are processed right here in Decatur. And so what that means for us is how do we retool the industrial infrastructure that has supported different types of industries to now support bioengineering and agribusiness. And how we do that is something that is still taking shape. At the city level, we've realized that we have to offer water and sewer in a slightly different way. They have different power requirements. They have different transportation requirements. Because of the focus on climate change, there's also a great deal of interest in how do we make them greener? How do they maybe work more synergistically, and one business can use another's waste product? How can we capture CO2, storing it as a way of attracting business to Decatur? These are industrial scale-up decisions and planning policies that haven't been a part of traditional industrial manufacturing, but are a part of it going forward. And so how we figure out how to do that here in Decatur and then make it somehow fit as well into slightly different policies advanced both by the state and federal government will be a key challenge for the city of Decatur moving forward. That second key challenge that I mentioned, that I called restoring community safety and civic accountability, I think what I want to point out, first of all, is that your mayor and city council have been very proactive in supporting public safety, especially law enforcement, giving them the resources, both in terms of equipment and manpower that they need. Everything from some of the latest technologies in surveillance to funds to recruit the more people into law enforcement, despite some of the challenges that law enforcement throughout the United States is involved in. But I think that the focus on that, while important, sometimes neglects the fact that there's also a civic piece of keeping our community safe and making sure that people are accountable for their actions. Everything from putting more attention on cleaning up neighborhoods, on improving the housing stock, on making sure that people's lives are ones that have the economic opportunity necessary so they don't feel like they have to fall back into crime. And so understanding that a person in a neighborhood has a civic responsibility for the improvement of the neighborhood as well, that responsibility doesn't rest entirely with local government. And that's a dialogue that we've started in the past, but I think need to start even more of, about how just people in our civic groups, in our neighborhood organizations, just residents of our communities and employees in our local businesses can be a part of providing information, providing support, providing part of the network of what it means to be in a community, that it's not all just about catching the bad guys necessarily. And understanding that to live in a society means to be accountable and to have a responsibility for the betterment of that community. And I think that to a certain extent, that's been lost in the 21st century, not just in Decatur, but everywhere. And to the extent that we can find new ways to articulate that and to bring people in to not necessarily into government, but into the process of improving their neighborhood, improving their lives, improving the quality of life in community, that makes Decatur better. I'm going to talk more about those other two challenges next week, and I look forward to doing that.